Right now, you are wearing a body that doesn't quite fit. You felt it the last time a cold breeze crossed your arm, or the last time a song climbed to its highest note. Tiny bumps rose across your skin, every hair standing on end, and for half a second, you were covered in something invisible. You probably blamed the cold. But the real answer is far stranger than temperature. Those bumps are a message. And the message was written for a body you no longer have. Start with what is actually happening under your skin. Attached to the base of every hair on your body is a microscopic muscle. It is called the erector pili. When it contracts, it tugs the hair upright and pushes the skin around it into a tiny mound. Multiply that by the millions of hairs you carry, and you get goosebumps. The trigger is your nervous system. Specifically, the part that runs your fight or flight response. The same wiring that floods you with adrenaline yanks every one of those little muscles tight all at once in a single instant. The chemical that carries the order even has a name: norepinephrine, a stress signal fired straight into your skin. So your body has built an enormous, full-body reflex to do what exactly? To lift hairs that are barely there. To understand why, look at an animal that still owns its coat. Watch a cat meet a dog. Its fur shoots straight up, and it seems to double in size. Watch a frightened bird. It puffs into a round ball. Watch a porcupine, a squirrel, a cornered rat. Same muscle, same reflex, same nervous system, doing two ancient jobs. The first job is warmth. Raised fur traps a thick layer of air against the skin, and trapped air is insulation. The second job is intimidation. A fluffed-up animal looks bigger, and looking bigger can be the difference between being attacked and being left alone. For a creature with a coat, this is a brilliant two-in-one tool. Cold, puff up and hold the heat. Threatened, puff up and buy a moment of doubt from whatever is about to eat you. The reflex was survival, stitched directly into the skin. Charles Darwin noticed it. In 1872, in his book on the expression of the emotions, he described the way hair stands erect in animals under fear and rage, and he tied it directly to the human version. He saw that the bumps on a terrified person and the raised hackles on a terrified animal were the same event. One body simply had the coat, the other did not. Because here is what happened to you. Somewhere along the human line, your ancestors lost their fur. Why is its own strange story. The leading idea is that as early humans became walkers and runners on hot open ground, a thick coat became a liability. Bare skin and millions of sweat glands let the body dump heat fast so you could keep moving under the sun while furrier animals overheated. Losing the coat helped you chase, travel, and survive. But evolution is not a tidy designer who clears away the old wiring when a feature goes. It is a hoarder. It kept the muscles, it kept the nerves, it kept the entire reflex perfectly intact, firing on schedule for a coat that vanished long ago. The physiologist George Bubenik described goosebumps in modern humans as essentially vestigial, a leftover, a reflex performing to an empty theater. When you step into the cold and your skin pebbles over, your body is still trying to fluff a coat that is no longer dense enough to trap anything. It raises the hairs. The air slips through. Nothing warms. And yet the body tries every time, faithfully, as if the fur might have grown back while you slept. Have you ever wondered why the same thing happens on the back of your neck when you are afraid? That is the intimidation half of the reflex, still firing. You walk into a dark room and feel the hair lift. 10,000 years ago, that same surge would have made a hairy ancestor visibly swell, a silent warning to a rival or a predator. Now it just gives you a chill and a story to tell. The signal still fires, the coat just isn't there to carry it. So is that the whole story? A useless echo of a furry past? For a long time, that is exactly what scientists assumed. Then they looked closer, and the story got stranger. In 2020, a team at Harvard, led by the biologist Yachie Shu, traced the exact wiring behind that little muscle. And they found something nobody expected. The erector pili muscle is not simply attached to a nerve that makes it twitch. That same muscle physically anchors the nerve to the hair follicle's stem cells, the cells that grow new hair. Three things, bound into one unit: nerve, muscle, and the seed of future fur. Then they discovered what that connection does. When you are cold for a short time, the nerve fires and the muscle contracts. Goosebumps. But when the cold lasts, that same nerve switches roles. It begins signaling the stem cells to wake up and grow an entirely new coat. So the goosebump reflex is not just a leftover, it is the visible flicker of a deeper system. And that system's real job is to sense the cold and, over time, regrow the very fur it is straining to raise. Think about what that means. The reflex you dismissed as a glitch is the trigger end of a hair-growing machine. In a furry animal, the chain is complete. You feel the cold. Your hairs lift for instant warmth. And if the cold stays, your body thickens the coat for the long winter ahead. A short-term fix and a long-term fix run down the same wire. You still have the whole machine. You simply lost the part that makes it pay off. Now think about the other time you get goosebumps. Not the cold, the chills, the drop in a song, a stadium roaring as one, a scene in a film that lands somewhere deep, the sound of a voice you thought you had forgotten. In those moments, no breeze touched you and no predator appeared, and yet the skin pebbles over anyway. That is the same fight-or-flight system firing, not from temperature, but from feeling. A surge of emotion spikes your nervous system, the old reflex obeys, and your body, flooded with awe, does the only thing it knows how to do with that much arousal. It reaches for a coat that is not there. This is why a piece of music can raise the hair on your arms. Your ancestors used that puffed coat to broadcast danger and intensity to the others around them. Big feeling, big body. Now the signal fires inward with no fur to carry it, so all that is left is the sensation of it trying. The chill you get from beauty is the ghost of an alarm, quietly repurposed for wonder. This is not the only ghost like this hiding in your body. As a newborn, you had a reflex called the palmar grasp. Press a finger into a baby's palm, and the tiny hand clamps shut with shocking strength, strong enough in some infants to nearly support their own weight. A human baby has almost nothing it needs to grip like that, but the babies of your furry ancestors did. They clung to their mother's coat as she climbed and walked and ran. That grip was survival, and you were born still performing it, grabbing with all your might for fur that disappeared long before you did. Goosebumps are the same kind of echo. You simply never grew out of this one. Picture a wolf on a frozen night. The cold deepens. Its fur lifts and locks a layer of warm air against the skin. And as the freeze drags on, its body quietly begins thickening the coat for the season ahead. Two defenses, one fast and one slow, both running from the same set of nerves. Now picture yourself on that same night, stepping outside for a moment. The exact same nerves fire. Your skin pebbles over, and nothing warms. Because the coat that this entire system was built to command simply is not there anymore. You are the wolf's reflex, running in a body that quietly shed the wolf. Here is a small detail that gives the whole thing away. Not everyone feels the emotional chills equally. Some people get them from music constantly, several times a day. Others almost never do. And that difference does not track how cold someone is, or how thin their skin is. It tracks temperament. It tracks how open a person is, how easily they get absorbed and moved. If goosebumps were purely about temperature, they would not care who you are. The fact that your personality changes how often a song raises the hair on your arms is the clearest proof of all that this ancient cold reflex has been rewired in humans straight into the machinery of feeling. Cold built the system, feeling borrowed it, and in you, feeling now reaches for it far more often than cold ever does. And think about why feeling, of all things, would borrow this particular tool. Among your ancestors, fear and awe were not private. A startled member of the group, fur on end, eyes wide, was a living alarm, broadcasting to everyone around that something important had happened. Emotion and the puffed coat were a shared language. So when wonder grips you today, the body still tries to speak it. It cannot raise the fur, so it raises only the feeling of fur. You experience that as a chill. It began as a message meant to be seen, so the next time it happens, notice the timing. The cold morning, the swelling chorus, the story that moves you more than you expected. In every case, your body is doing the same impossible thing. It is bracing a creature that has not existed for a very long time. Preparing a defense. Fluffing a coat. You feel it as a shiver. Your ancestors would have felt it as survival. You are not glitching. You are not broken. You are running ancient software on a body that quietly changed shape underneath it and never told the software the news. So when those tiny bumps rise across your arm tonight, remember what you are really feeling. It is not only the cold, and it is not only the song, it is a body that doesn't quite fit, reaching one more time for fur that is no longer there.